We start with the injury news. The biggest injury for the Raiders is Amari Cooper. He suffered both a concussion and an ankle injury on the same play. He's been cleared from the concussion, but the ankle injury is still bothering him. He was running on the side field and not practicing on Wednesday and Thursday before being limited on Friday. If Cooper does play, I think he'll be very limited. The Raiders need this win, and Cooper is a big weapon. They might push to have him out there, even just as a decoy. Linebacker Corey James is doubtful to play after not practicing all week with a knee injury. James has played well at times this season, but he's certainly replaceable. Nicholas Moore will likely take his place again. Neither of these players are very good, but Moore has shown up better covering tight ends. The linebackers work best in a rotation, so hopefully James can be on the field sooner rather than later. There are a ton of other questionables, but I think all will play come game time. The only one I'm not sure of is cornerback David Amerson. He's been limited in practice for weeks now and missed the last 5 games due to injury, and the Raiders need him as a corner. The cornerbacks overall just aren't very good, and they need all the help that they can get. It was expected that he would play last week, but something must have come up. Hopefully, this is the week of his return. Reserve interior lineman Jon Feliciano is out with a concussion. It's a good thing Gabe Jackson seems to be fine after being on the injury report the last couple of weeks. The problem will be if another interior lineman goes down. They're really thin in the middle, and there's no official backup center. The Raiders need depth at cornerback and receiver this game, so there could be a big mess if an injury occurs. For the Chiefs, the biggest news is cornerback Marcus Peters has been suspended by the team. He is by far and away the best secondary player on the Chiefs. As talented as he is, he does come with a lot of baggage. He lost control against the Jets and threw a penalty flag into the stands and left the game thinking he was ejected. Ultimately, this was a move that Andy Reid had to make. Reid needs to send a message to his team that has kind of lost control recently. Luckily for the Raiders, he's suspended against them. Pass rushing linebacker Dee Ford has been placed on injured reserve with a back injury. He hasn't played for a while, and it might be a coincidence, but the Chiefs haven't played well since he's been on the sideline. He had an amazing year last year and is a great compliment to Justin Houston. The Chiefs' pass rush has been lacking recently, and they really need all the help that they can get. On the offensive side, starting center Mitch Morse is out. The Chiefs' offensive line has been so-so throughout the season. More importantly, they are not opening up as many holes in the running game like they did in the beginning of the season. Morse was out last time they played the Raiders, and it was felt in the running game. This is another big blow to a struggling Chiefs team. Lastly, for the injuries, the Chiefs will be without reserve defensive back Eric Murray. Overall, the secondary is struggling just like the Raiders. Both teams need all the bodies that they can use on the back end. Murray is one of the players trying to fill in for Eric Berry, and the secondary is struggling. Josh McCown and the Jets ate up the Chiefs, and it doesn't look like it'll get any better this week. In a bit of funny news, defensive coordinator John Pagano was asked on his plans on stopping Tyreek Hill. He said pray. Honestly, that might be the best solution. Hill wrecks even the best planned defenses. Just imagine what he can do against the Raiders. Pagano has had it kind of easy his first few weeks as a coordinator since he's played against bad quarterbacks. This will be his first test, and we'll see just how far this Raiders defense has improved. Now, we move on to news not about this game. Defensive lineman Jihad Ward sent out a weird tweet. He suffered a foot injury and hasn't been on the practice field since. His tweet said, quote, "Thank you all for the opportunity." This makes it seem like he's been released, but he just had foot surgery and will be out for the rest of the season. Overall, he's been a massive disappointment, and maybe a change of scenery will be best for both sides. In sad news, Sebastian Janikowski likely played his last snap as a Raider. This was news last week, and his window to be brought back from IR has passed. This was his last season under contract, and it looks like the Raiders will move on with Tavecchio. I will never forget how he was drafted in the first round and ended up becoming one of the best first-round picks the Raiders have had. He's the Raiders' all-time leading scorer and was there through the darkest of times. If this is the end, I'd like to thank him for his services. As for the prediction, nothing would really surprise me. Both teams have played great, but also played horrible. The Chiefs were great in the beginning of the season, but have been awful recently. The Raiders, on the other hand, have been up and down all season long. For the final prediction, I have the Raiders winning this one 28-24. There's just too many injuries for the Chiefs in problem areas that the Raiders can take advantage of. I don't predict the Raiders' defense will stop anybody, so this could end up being another shootout. But this Chiefs team is very different from the first time they met, and the Raiders need to capitalize.